Big time, no man, diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine.
Oh, baby. Brandon Adam, we are back for the DFS Army Fantasy Football Show. What's going on, family? I am, of course, your host, Flex Shane. So we didn't Saturday, Brandon, but we did have a special show with our guy, Jax Falcone, talking a little bit of a dynasty flavor. But today we are back to the basics. We're back to business, and we're here to talk about the Week 8 slate, man. So how the hell are you doing?
It's a fun slate. I've been diving into it. This is definitely a great slate this week. There's a lot of opportunities to make some money. And that's, like I have a good feeling about this week. I like this week a lot. It's lined up quite well for some of the guys that I've been riding this year. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, man. And what's interesting is that we have this interesting no bye weeks this week. So
it's great.
For those of us, yeah, it's nice. Hey, like for those of us who have been struggling for injuries, and for the record, every single team in your league is battling injuries right now. So don't be that guy or girl in your league that's bitching and complaining about, oh, woe with me, my injuries, I can't compete. It's like, listen, it happens to all of us. This is what makes the game fun. If you wanted it to be simple, don't play fantasy football or play in a 10-person league, have short benches. And it's just like, what are we even talking about? We got, of course, another maniacal diehard. We got our guy, Clipboard Jesus, in the chat. The basics, nice. Yeah, so the wet blanket, he is working today, actually. Our guy, where he lives, I guess the town has like a huge Halloween event today. And so, of course, y'all know that Mike is the president and CEO of a number of restaurant chains out there in Delaware. And they got to accommodate the people, man. He's a man of the people, just like we are today, Brandon. So he's got to work, man. He's got to work. And listen, hey, just for the people, because we're not going to see you for a little while, because after this week, Brandon, you are officially becoming a hockey dad, and you're going to be traveling the great state of Colorado with your daughter, Rory. So that's pretty amazing. Just because I don't know. I feel like a lot of our listeners, they're getting to know us over the years. Why don't you tell us, because this is a really cool story. Tell us a little bit about your daughter and what she's doing and what she's competing in.
Yeah, man. She's just, I used to play for Team USA Hockey for a little while, and she's kind of gotten obsessed with hockey as well. She's 9, and she's, originally she was just going to play for one team, and I was going to be able to do this at least every other week. But due to the fact that she tried out and played and made the U10 boy A team as well, she's going to be playing every weekend somewhere in this state of Colorado. And so as the resident hockey dad, I got to kind of step up and take her all over the place and let her pursue her dreams, just like I pursued mine for so long. And so this is just the beginning of it, man. It's she's just a special kid, and she deserves to have this opportunity.
That's cool, man. That's what it's all about as a parent, right? Just watching your kids flourish and just be successful in what they're dreaming about. So that's cool. One thing that I like about Rory, one thing I like about you, Brandon, is that you're resilient. Like, we fight back. We don't bitch. We don't complain. And so, I don't know. So we play in some pretty maniacal leagues, right? And what I love about those leagues is the fact that they are just that. They're maniacal. It's like-minded individuals that like strategy, that like the challenge every single week. When you lose Chris Godwin, you lose Mike Evans, you start the season, your 101 is Christian McCaffrey, and oh wait, he's out for 3/4 of the season, the fantasy season. Like, this is what fantasy football is all about, Brandon. So I don't want you to be that person in your league that wakes up or listen, hey, if you've got a bad beat on a Monday night, you're favored by like 75% in the sleeper matchup, and then you go and you end up losing by a couple points. That's fantasy football, man. It's meant to hurt. So don't be that guy. Don't be that gal in your league. Please don't bitch and complain, woe with me, because guess what? Next week, you're probably going to be that person that comes back, hopefully. Although I have to say, Brandon, if you're the person who's bitching and complaining about the competitiveness of your league, you're probably not the one grinding that waiver wire. So anyways, it happened in one of our leagues this week, and it really upsets me because these are people who are supposed to be degenerates like us, and we don't complain, man. We just keep going. That's
Just
it.
keep it moving. Just keep it
Yeah.
moving. There's lots of great players in this NFL. The college game is, because the NFL is becoming more like the college game, it's allowed a bigger pool of talent to be able to replace stars. So we'll talk about some of the people that you can pick up this week to replace that Chris Godwin's or the Mike Evans. We'll talk about that.
All right, and let's get into it, baby. Let's talk about our flex plays for NFL Week 8.
He's my best friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy, my rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy.
All right, Brandon, let's start off with a little bit of sex appeal because he's on the thumbnail, baby. He plays for your beloved Seattle Seahawks. Give me your first flex play of the week.
It's my guy, JSN, right? Jackson Smith and Jigba. We're officially at that time where they're going to have to be kind of forced to use JSN a little bit more than they have been. With the injury, the MCL sprain of DK Metcalf, that's a big deal. DK has been seeing big target share week in, week out, and somebody's got to take in some of this work. And the way you attack the Buffalo Bills with the wide receiver positions through the slot position, man. And where does JSN live, right? JSN lives right in that slot 90% of the time, or 80, whatever how high he is. He's at least in the 80s, I'm sure. And I just think he is going to be the matchup guy that he might even get some outside work this weekend because of this. Jake Bobo is probably going to be the 1-for-1 replacement with DK Metcalf. He will be the X most likely, but that doesn't mean we won't see maybe Lockett shifted over to the X for once and then having JSN shifting out to the flanker. I could totally see that happening, but you attack the Buffalo Bills through the slot and the run game. That's how you attack them. You attack the linebackers of the Buffalo Bills. They don't have them anymore. They don't have the guys that they used to in the last couple of years. And they're going to find out when they come to Seattle. I think that's a great bet. Seattle is a dog this week. I really think Seattle is going to win this outright at home, because I think they're going to mainly lean into those matchups where they are positive matchups, and JSN is that one. And 10 targets. I could see 10 targets pretty easily, double-digit targets with JSN this week with no DK Metcalf. And JSN, whenever he does get looks into the red zone and the ball is kind of near him, he catches it. So he makes spectacular red zone catches. This kid at Ohio State was a special prospect. We loved him. He was our number one wide receiver out of that class, and it wasn't even close. And I think we're going to be able to see the handcuffs taken off of JSN a little bit more this week. But yeah, JSN's a good one. I think JSN's going to be a nice play this week.
What do you think about Clip's comment here? So we got Clipboard Jesus, of course. He's it seems that Gino has lost some trust with Lockett. Do you think that's a trust thing, or is it just really the fact that Jackson Smith and Jigba is just stepping up and like this is the evolution? This is what happens, right?
I think preseason, Ryan Grubb and Mike McDonald had a prerequisite this year, no matter what happens. And that is DK Metcalf has to be the wide receiver one and has to be the featured wide receiver. In the past, they didn't really care who they threw it to. This year, it was much different. I think Lockett could come out this week gangbusters as well. There's a chance of that as well because he is a savvy freaking veteran that can get open against anybody. I'm not worried about that. But I just think the linebacking core is pretty awful for the Bills, and I think we're going to be able to see JSN exploit that zone coverage and be able to get after it a little bit more than usual.
What do you think this does for Noah Fant? What do you think this does for Noah Fant?
I don't mind. I think Noah Fant's a great play. I think he's got big chunk plays that they drop for him every week. But they also do it for Barner as well. So you really don't know who's going to get it. So I Noah Fant's nice, but I really don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be Ken Walker to the freaking moon this week. I think Ken Walker could be the RB1 on the week this week against that putrid run defense of the Bills. And they're at home. I love Ken Walker like crazy. I think he's good. I think he's my number one play in parlays this week. He's my anchor play this week in parlays, and it's mainly because I know Ken Walker. Every time this guy touches the ball anywhere inside the 30, he can go to the end zone anytime. Yes. Like, and that's how he's proven himself. Last week he had a touchdown called back that should have been enough. He should have had a huge touchdown. Got called back. Every week he gets a touchdown called back, and he still performs and still guts it out and still gets in the end zone over and over again when he plays. Give me Ken Walker all you can get, 2-touchdown game this week. I'm calling it right now. I think he is just going to smash this week. 120 yard plus, over 150 yard combined yards with receiving, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, we definitely got to talk about Brendan's bets by the end of the show here. And maybe what we'll do is we'll get you to text us. Well, you already do text us, but we'll have to add that as a segment just so we've got the trash heap from our guy Matt. We got to add Brandon's bets into the end of our show every week.
Oh, dude, like I've had last week was a rough week. I missed it by one on some pretty big ones that could have saved the week, but that's the way betting works, man. When you bet touchdowns, it's a dicey prospect. So you just got to understand that when you do this stuff. But yeah, man, it's unfortunate because with what's going to be happening in the near future, I'm not going to be able to put as much time into everything, and I probably might not even be able to bet like I used to, like the last 2 months, because I just don't have the knowledge because I can't keep up like how I
got to say
now.
Brendan, maybe that's a good thing. Hang on to that hard-earned cash, baby.
No, bro, no. We go for the moon or we go to the floor. That's it. Like none of that. I've already taken my money out that I have won. It's all good. Now this is all gravy.
Appreciate it, brother. Okay, so looking at the players that we're going to chat about today, and even some of like the trash sheep guys, really this is about subtraction, right? Equals opportunity for new players. So the guy that I want to talk about first, the guy that I want to talk about first is Jalen McMillan. So we obviously know that Chris Godwin had the dislocated ankle. Like that looked nasty, man. Poor guy. So he's pretty much done for the season. Yeah, and then Mike Evans with his injury, he's going to be gone for at least a month. So it's going to open up a lot.
I'm so pissed they ran him out there. They didn't have to do that, man.
Yeah.
Like he did not belong out there whatsoever. And I'm a Mike Evans owner across the board on a lot of teams, and I'm just pissed at them for doing that to him. They didn't need to do that to him.
Do you think, I mean, it's hard to say, right? But do you think it's like Mike's like, hey, let's go. I want to play.
I know, like, but no. When you see him limping out on the first snap, dragging his leg like that, man, I don't care what the athlete says. You got to pull him. I mean, he did score a touchdown. He did cash that for me. But I mean, but we lost him for a month. That was an awfully expensive touchdown. Like that was an awfully expensive touchdown, Todd Bowles. That's when you got to go, you know what? We do have a Jalen McMillan that we drafted out of Washington. That's a complete dog himself and can get open and has been getting open. He just drops the football a little bit here and there. He just needs to understand you got to catch that football, Jalen. And if you do, you're going to make big, big plays.
That seems like a common theme with these Washington wide receivers right now. Like we got a guy, Polk. He's dropping it like crazy. Of course. Oh, yeah. I mean, Puka's. Man, for those of you who were,
I want to say something. Oh, wait. Before I leave for this pretty much year almost, I'm going to say this once. We said it last year. When you have stud players coming off of long-term recoveries, when they activate said players, you fucking start them every time. I do not care what you think you are. If you think you are a doctor of some kind, you have no clue what is going on behind the scenes of how this guy has been ramped up. When NFL teams say this player is ready to go and they are star players, you always start them no matter what. When CMC comes back, you start him day one. When Hawkinson comes back, you start him day one. When Puka comes back, you start him day one. That is how you deal with NFL players. This is too short of a season to dick around and bench star players, okay? You are going to screw yourself more often than not trying to play doctor with things you don't even understand or have seen. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me to do that. You draft these guys to be stars. They're football players. When they are on the field, they are going to go all out. And their coaches say they can go all out. It's insane. It's a different thing when you see a said player like Mike Evans have an injury, plays over and over with the same injury, and is limping all over the place. And yeah, there is a different measure of that kind of a player, injured player playing, because he's been playing with an injury. But when they come off of a surgery, when they come off of long-term, start them up. It doesn't matter. Like, this season's too short. Your replacement player ain't Puka. What are we doing? It's crazy.
Okay, I got a question for you, though, Brandon. Okay, because Jonathan Brooks, right? He has to come this week, but it's looking like it's probably going to be next week where we're going to start him, right? What the hell are we doing with Jonathan Brooks? So, rookie drafted by Carolina. He's a stud. Like, he would have been highly, well, I mean, he was the first running back drafted this year, but he probably would have been even higher drafted had he not had the injury. Chuba Hubbard's looked good for his part. So what the hell
I
are
don't
we
think
going to
he's
do with
coming
Jonathan
back.
Brooks?
I don't think
I
know he is. I literally just watched a Dave Canales presser where he was asked the question is it really worth bringing him back right now? Is it really worth it for the long-term health of the kid? And he had a very, very wonky answer to that. And he said it might not be worth, essentially it might not be worth it to bring him in right now. That's different. Yeah. You got to listen to your freaking coaches, dude. Like, it's a losing team, a losing franchise. They are going to trade Deontay Johnson. They are going to trade Deontay Johnson before trade deadline. Period. That's why I think he's going to be getting traded next week. That's why he's not active this week. If that is the case, I don't think we see Jonathan Brooks, brother. I really don't. I really don't. Why? Why force it? I don't think they do. But I'm playing my guys no matter what. If I've been holding on to them that long. If I have to take it in the teeth once in a while, fine, whatever. But when we're talking, the difference between Jonathan Brooks is that he's a rookie. They always ease rookies in, always. Even Bijan Robinson was eased in, for God's sakes.
They're still easing him in, for God's sakes.
They're still easing him in, right? So it's a little bit different of a deal. But when we're talking about a Puka, a Hawkinson, proven stars, what are we talking about here? If they're active, you play your stars, period.
I like that. All right, we got a trade question coming from Sebastian in the chat here. So this is the one QB redraft league, okay, Brandon? Would you trade away Brock Purdy and Tank Dell for your guy, Jordan Love and Jameson Williams? This one's interesting. I know where I lean. Where are you leaning? I think I know where you're going to lean, but I'm curious. So obviously J-Mo missing 2 weeks, right? So he's going to be on your bench for a couple weeks. Tank Dell, he hasn't looked great, right? I mean, he just hasn't had.
I would take Love. Just give me Love. He is a superstar he's throwing 2 touchdowns every week, like every week. So preparing for this week, the game I really, really like this week for betting purposes, for flex play purposes, is this Green Bay Jags game, man. This Green Bay Jags game is going to be fun. And in every single one of my parlays, I have Jordan Love over two touchdowns. And then I also have some alternates with him throwing 3. But the thing about it is that when I was betting it first early in the week, the odds had him at -180 to throw for over 1.5, right? Those odds jumped up just yesterday, or got even worse, -220 to get to that same. So they are expecting Jordan Love to throw for 3. They are expecting it. So they want, I think that's what the books are saying, because they got pounded early with Jordan Love. Do we want to start talking about my flex plays with the Green Bay? But I would take Love and Jameson, because JMO is getting some target share. It's 2 weeks. You can get past that. Love is special. Purdy's not gonna, at this rate, Purdy's not gonna win you any leagues. Love will.
I think that's what it comes down to, right? Especially in these one quarterback leagues, you need to go for an upside. And losing Brandon Ayuk, man, like that's going to be huge for that offense. And then, of course, like it sounds like Debo's going to play this week, but Jennings is out again. Sounds like,
he's out. He hasn't even practiced this week.
Yeah, so he's out. So I like that. And really, what it comes down to is I think JMO and Dell, like they're both going to have their weeks. That's kind of a wash for me. So really, what it comes down to is, are you going to go for upside with Love? Who, man, he's just every single week he's getting just a little bit healthier, right? In theory,
exactly.
That's where I lean to, man. I totally agree. I would do that trade. So yeah, Sebastian, go and pull that trigger. Give me. Let's talk about that Green Bay game. So give me your next flex play here.
All right, brother. The reason I like Green Bay pass catchers in this game is because Jacksonville Jaguars play 43% of the time in man coverage. Okay, man coverage. My guy, Dontavian Wicks. Let me pull him up here. I have him over here. Where's he at? Dontavian Wicks versus man. He's projecting at 0.82 fantasy points per route run. Okay, that is ridiculous. That's really good. That's higher than everyone else in that wide receiver room at this point. He also has a 19% target share. The funny thing is, Romeo Doubs has a 19% target share. Jaden Reed has a 19% target share. Watson's been battling this ankle. I think he just got cleaned up I think he's off the injury report, but as of yesterday or this week, he still was limited throughout practice, but I think he's still going to play. Christian Watson and Dontavian Wicks are the two most interesting Green Bay pass catchers for that reason. Another reason is that I like the fact that the Jags run cover 2 quite a bit as well. And Dontavian Wicks against cover 2 coverages puts up 0.85 fantasy points per route run. That is extremely high as well. That is actually top 5 in the NFL against cover 2. So Dontavian Wicks, he doesn't get to run it a lot against cover 2, but when he does, he smashes every single time. He just has to catch the football. His biggest issue is the drops. If he wouldn't have had those 3 drops that he's had so far this year, he would have 2 more touchdowns. And he already has got 4 on the year, and that is, pretty elite for as of right now. I think that's like top 10 in the league right now. But Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, man coverage, Jordan Love is going to go deep, and he's going to attack the living hell out of this Jags secondary. The Jags secondary is the worst in the league against a wide receiver position. And I just love Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson. And I like I said, I think Jordan Love's going to throw for 3 this week. And that's what Vegas thinks too.
Yeah, it's so funny that you're talking about the target shares. Like they're pretty much identical for their top guys, and it's kind of exactly what we thought coming into the season. Jaden Reed is still the dog, right? Because you look at who they're targeting in terms of red zones. He's leading. Well, actually, no, he's got 6. Oh no, sorry, Jaden Reed's 4. Romeo Doubs is 6. Dontavian Wicks is 7. So Dontavian Wicks actually has the most red zone targets.
I know.
Yeah. So you look at the upside, like it's a challenge to predict this every single week. But the thing is that these guys are good players. And it really just goes back to Sebastian's question. Like, really, the winner in all this is going to be Jordan Love. Dontavian Wicks, I have him in a league. I'm starting him in a league this week, and I'm comfortable doing it.
Yeah, he's in all mine. I slid him into all mine. I think this is going to hit the over quite easily. Another guy, Tucker Kraft, could smash as well. Cole Kmet absolutely annihilated the Jags in London. So did Hunter Henry in London. So I can see Tucker Kraft as well having a good week as well. I think we're going to see I'm a little worried that there are a lot of. I'm a little worried that Christian Watson is coming off the mend. That's the only thing that can kind of get in the way of a Dontavian Wicks is that issue. But like I said, Dontavian Wicks leads the team in air yards. Leads the team in air yards. Okay, 30% of the team air yards is going to Wicks. That means they are attacking down deep. I expect a long touchdown with Wicks this week of 30 plus. That's what I think.
I like that. Okay, so we got a question here with another Green Bay wide receivers coming from Kyle in the chat. We need to pick two of these guys. It's a full PPR, so 2 wide receivers and a flex. All right, we got Nick Chubb, Romeo Doubs, Khalil Shakir, and Jalen McMillan. This one's interesting because initially my gut says you definitely got to start Chubb in the flex because it's Nick Chubb, right? Jerome Ford is out this week, but they're going up against Baltimore, and we saw Baltimore just steamroll Tampa Bay last week. I do like
Rachaad White still did well.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He got to 2 touchdowns, which kind of saved the week. I think he put up 26 fantasy points last week, PPR fantasy points. So I would lean to put Chubb into flex, and then I'm leaning. I have a hard time benching Khalil Shakir.
Me too.
I'm probably leaning Chubb, Doubs, Shakir, bench McMillan of this group.
Yeah. I love Shakir. That he was a name that I had as a flex play as well. I think Fantasy Points has him as like a top 15 matchup right now. This week, I like the fact that he's going to be able to stay away from Spoon a little bit. Spoon does go into the slot at a 50% rate, but that's fine. I get it. But Khalil Shakir, I think the Seahawks are going to try and stymie Amari Cooper as much as possible. And I think they're going to stack up the box quite a bit to stop Josh Allen and Cook and Ray Davis, the rushers of said Bills. I think they're going to be dealing with that quite a bit. And guess what happens when you get sucked up to stop the run? Those slot wide receivers like Khalil Shakir get to fill in right behind the linebackers for easy layup catches off of play action. And that's what you're going to see. And what does Khalil Shakir do after the catch? He's only, like top 10 in the NFL with, he's on efficiency. This guy is unbelievable. He is literally just a smaller Rashee Rice. That's all he is. He just doesn't get as much volume as Rashee Rice. So if he does get the volume this week, he could absolutely have a splash week. I like him in a flex. I'm playing him everywhere I got him. And I think the over is going to get hit in that game as well in Seattle. So I like Khalil Shakir, especially that Amari Cooper is around, so they won't be able to focus very hard on Khalil Shakir like they would have pre-Amari Cooper trade.
Yeah, and the thing too is that having Amari Cooper doesn't really change Shakir's role in the offense, right? And we know that he's become a reliable target. Josh Allen's always liked that slot. He just didn't really have a reliable player for the last few years. He has it finally. Time for us to earn our money here, Brandon, because we got one from Chopix Dup. Chopix Dup. That's quite the name. I like that. Should we be starting Kareem Hunt or Jaden Reed? Now, this one, I think initially my gut reaction would be you got to start Jaden Reed, but then you look at the Chiefs and they're going up against the putrid Las Vegas Raiders. Their implied team total is 25. Yeah, they're about a 9-point favorite over
Hunt is going to absolutely. Yeah. But God damn it, man. That's a hard. This is a hard one, but Jaden Reed is a dude like him having a quiet week last week. The only hesitancy I had with Dontavian Wicks this week was because of Jaden Reed having a quiet week last week. And I was nervous that Jaden Reed could just be just have one of those schemed up splash weeks because of the fact that he was quiet and that Dobbs had a huge week last week. It could rotate back to Jaden Reed. Yeah, dude. I guess I'm going Hunt. I'm Hunt because it's safer. I know it's safer than Reed. Hunt he has a chance to get 2 tuds. Easy. because of how they can't finish in the red zone, right? They can't finish in
Mm.
the red zone, right? So they're going to have Kareem Hunt run it over and over again within the inside 10 yards. He's going to get all the red zone looks. It's just how it's going to be.
Yeah. And obviously, like the Chiefs acquired DeAndre Hopkins this week, which is good for the offense. But like Mahomes is not throwing passing touchdowns right now. Everything that you're successful on is in the rush. So this one's really close, Chop.
It
but
is.
I'm definitely leaning Kareem Hunt in this case.
I'm going Hunt.
So we got David X. Should I start Jalen Tolbert, Calvin Ridley, or Tillman? I mean, you know what? Let me chat on this one because I think to me the answer is Ridley. That really gets into my next flex play because I like Calvin Ridley this week.
Boy, yeah.
It scares me a little bit, although maybe it's a good thing. Flex Matt, of course, he likes to text me his trash sheet plays of the week, and he had Calvin Ridley in there as a trash sheet player. And listen, the NFL has been so wild this year, Brandon. Fantasy football has been so wild this year that if you've just been like riding those trash sheet players, you're doing pretty damn good. So it's smelly, it's nasty, but I like the fact that Calvin Ridley won, and this is my favorite term in fantasy football, the dead cat bounce. So obviously DeAndre Hopkins is now gone. We've got hopefully a consolidated target share. They're going up against Detroit. Yeah, I mean he's on IR.
Burks on IR.
Yeah,
it's still Mason, right? It's Mason this week, right? It's not.
Levis. So Mason Rudolph, he took the majority of the snaps all week. It looks like Will Levis is trending once again to sit, which I prefer. We know Mason Rudolph had a bit of a rough week last week, but he did okay. It was against the Bills. Bills have a tough defense. So I like Calvin Ridley. And when you look at the implied team totals here, Detroit is favored by 12 points versus the Titans. So which means that for good or for ill, they're going to be throwing the damn ball. Calvin Ridley could catch one, and we know that Detroit gives up points through the air. So I like Calvin Ridley of that group, and I don't think like is the right word, Brandon, but when it comes down to if you're looking at a flex, you're starting 3 wide receivers, you need a flex. Like Calvin Ridley is somebody that I'm going to plug my nose, plug it in, and I'm okay watching that game because Detroit's fun to watch right now. But
he could literally have 15 targets this week.
He should have 15 targets. He should.
If he just catches half, then you're going to have 15 points. And all we're trying to do with flex plays is give you 12 points or better. Give you somebody that's going to give you 12 to 15 points. That's what a flex play is. And I think that if Ridley doesn't do it with he's going to have a Malik Neighbors target share, right? He's going to have 38%, something crazy. I think it's going to be pretty intense, but yeah, I do like Jalen Tolbert though. This week, he is the legitimate wide receiver 2 of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. San Francisco is allowing a lot through a lot of passing yards, at least 200 yards per passing yards a week. 15
That's
targets.
Tough to pass on though.
Yeah, 15 targets. 15 targets the last 2 games for Tolbert. I get it. I totally get it. Tolbert is a flex play consideration. He was on the list. That's why I'm reading off my phone. He was on my list. But yes, Tolbert is a nice stash and a nice whoever was holding on to him in Dynasty is getting paid off a little bit right now with him.
Yeah.
He was a guy that we all kind of liked.
Yeah,
we kind of liked him coming out, and he just got buried, and now he's got his time. And 15 targets in the last 2 games is juicy. That's nice. That's real nice.
Yeah, that's why we always, especially in these dynasty leagues, we encourage flex or taxi spots, right? Because this is the type of player the taxi spot is designed for, right? He's probably not going to pop year 1, but once he gets the opportunity, once he gets a little bit of experience under his belt, that's where he's going to succeed. So Clip, I see your question. I'm going to get to it in a sec, but I just want to close off Chops because this one is interesting. We got the Chiefs defense or Texans defense. We just talked about the Chiefs, man. I think it's got to be the Chiefs defense at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Houston's playing against Indy, and Anthony Richardson loves to throw interceptions, but I'm still going Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Before I leave, fucking A, I got to take an L on him, huh? That's frustrating.
It's frustrating.
What's going on with the Colts? But Jonathan Taylor is back, which is quite nice to have that back in that offense. That is the whole reason I really liked that offense, is to be able to have a Rich in the back and Jonathan Taylor with the rushing, ability of both of them. A Rich is not doing good enough. He needs to toughen up. Like when he runs, he's running scared. He runs scared, dude. It makes me angry. It's like, dude, you're 255. Run that fucking DB over. What are you doing? Like, that is what the mentality you got to have. Like, straight up, get a heart of a lion out there and go, man. Be that Superman player like you're supposed to be.
I was literally going to say Superman, but like, the problem is
he needs to be Cam.
He needs to be Cam, but he's been getting hurt every time he does it. We're like, yes, he's taking advantage. He's bullying this defense. He gets a concussion. He gets hurt. Like he misses time. And then the problem is, and here's the thing: everything on paper going into the season suggested that there was nuclear upside for Anthony Richardson.
Sure.
So again, you have to go and you have to trust the process. And what it came down to is, and what we kind of missed on this is that we had more faith in the development of him as a passer coming into the season this year, which is one of the reasons we are so high on that Colts, like Michael Pittman, right? Like Michael Pittman,
I was high on Colts. Yeah, exactly. I was high on the Colts overall just because I thought the Colts could really pose some real problems to a lot of defenses. Man. Yeah. But A Rich needs to breathe, brother. Just breathe. When you're running, every time this kid gets hurt, it's because he's pulling up at the end of his runs to not get hurt. He fucking got nailed on his hip because he didn't just run the DB over. Run him over. Like that. This is what hits first. This right here. Those big ass boulders that you got, Anthony. Watch Cam Newton. Watch how he treated DBs. Watch it. Like, you want to get inspired? He needs to go talk to Cam. Richardson is a bust. He's just a soft tissue. Yeah. It's unfortunate. Cam Newton, like, that's why for all the hate Cam gets, I fucking loved the way that guy was. That guy was a warrior through and through. And I think Anthony Richardson is getting exposed for being a Tarzan that played like Jane, and he is getting hurt because of it. And he needs to fucking run people over and get some respect back. And once he does run people over and maybe deal out some of his own injuries to other people, maybe, just maybe, he'll get a little bit more room to run and people will start making more business decisions. But because they know that you're going to give yourself up like somebody that's soft would do, he's getting hurt because of that reason. And I don't like it because I think he has a lot of talent. He really does. He has some of his throws he throws the ball into keyholes that a ball should not go there, and he gets it done. And then he will miss the easiest layups I've ever seen in my life. Like, for quarterbacks, it's just not okay, dude. You need to be better than that. And it's funny because when we were doing the rookie draft that year, we were concerned with the completion percentage. And Mike back then even said it back then. Guys that come out of college for their rookie year, they drop 10% on their completion percentage from college into the pros. And if you're at 58% or 60% in college, that means you're dropping to like 50%. And that's pretty bang on right now with what A Rich is doing. And so he needs to get it together. Just bring your feet, go, like, just give yourself a platform. Watch Caleb Williams reset and set his feet inside the pocket. Watch how he does it. That is how you're supposed to do this, dude. And but Anthony Richardson is a bust as of right now. Yeah, he is. But he is a guy that I think has a lot of fantasy potential, and he's going to get runway to do so. He is only 21 years old. So I think he's going to get at least another year as a Colts quarterback. And so hopefully he starts getting it together. And hopefully this week he played pretty decent against Houston week 1. Let's see if he can do it again week 2. But yeah, he needs to get his shit together, man, because he's making people like me look like shit, for sure, for liking him. And how many monsters did I switched. I'm a Zoas. I went Zoa. I had
Is that
some
more natural ingredients, Brendan?
it's more natural, it's better,
Yeah.
it's got a lot more natural stuff in it versus the monster that has like a bunch of really bad things in them. But anyways, I'm just very angry at A-Rich right now. It's frustrating because he has good wide receivers and he's not getting it done. And he needs to get it done. He needs to start getting it going, and hopefully it's this week. Run
Hopefully
like a
it's this
man.
week.
Run like a dog, bro. Run like a freaking rabid dog. I want you to, if I don't see him run over a linebacker or two in the first quarter, something's wrong. Yeah, like it just needs to happen. Like he needs to deal out some punishment, man. Like be a monster out there. That's what you should be. It's crazy.
All right, so we got a question from Clip here, Brandon, and oh, by the way, just to close that out, it's your last show of the season, so we're just letting you cook today, baby. Because baby, you got some takes, and we need to get them out there.
I'm pissed about him. Like I told people to draft this guy. I feel bad that I did that to you, and I everywhere I had Anthony Richardson, I took Flacco though. So like I had a backup. So whenever he did get injured, like I knew that was a possibility. But you know what? If you would have listened on Drake London, you'd have the number 3 wide receiver in fantasy. So but there is give and takes,
Brandon,
and takes, and that's one of them.
That's the thing, right? Like, so we're out here, we're putting our names on the line. We're giving you players that we like, and unfortunately, we're not going to hit 100% of the time. As long as we hit more often than not, then we're succeeding. Yeah, if you took Drake London, like we said, you're laughing. Okay, we got to pick 2 quarterbacks here. This one's easy for me. It's between Justin Herbert, Gardner Minshew, and Jaden Daniels, or Mariota if Daniels doesn't start. I'm benching Minshew, man. I don't trust him. Herbert actually is a decent little matchup this week, and that actually kind of leads to a next start-sit question down here. We got Nick coming in. Dontavian Wicks, it's a 0.5 PPR. Dontavian Wicks, Calvin Ridley, Ladd McConkey, or Ricky Pearsall. I'm still not comfortable starting Ricky Pearsall. We talked about Ridley as an okay, but of this group, I kind of to me it's between Wicks and McConkey, and I'm kind of leading McConkey. Am I crazy?
No, you're not. He is a if hey, dynasty players, you want a wide receiver 1 for their team that still hasn't blown up yet just because of injuries, because he got stacked up with injuries. It's Ladd McConkey. And then you're attached to a Herbert with a Ladd McConkey, and this is a great time to go get him. He's been frustrating to own a little bit because he has had some injuries, and he should have blown up last week. He should have been a smash last week, but you can tell that he wasn't right. He has a hit pointer, a foot, like he got beat up. So, and then maybe in a couple of weeks he'll start splashing for you. But McConkey, Wicks,
I'm going McConkey.
I'm going. So for me, I'm not going McConkey because I like the game environment of Wicks better. So that's where I'm going.
Okay, so we're kind of split on this. I like McConkey, and the reason I like McConkey, and first of all, for those of you who are VIP members over at DFSArmy.com, go check out the matchup tool. It's even better every single week. So this is the second upgrade we've seen this season. And it's the user interface is so much easier than it used to be. You just click on the game. You don't have to mess around with scrolling. Like it's there. All the quick hitters. So like you got your implied team totals, you got your snaps per game, and where that ranks. So it's just like really high level. Like what's the game environment? That's what I like to see.
Huge
deal. Matchup tool. Yeah. And then you go and look at what Ladd McConkey is projected to score in terms of a fantasy point production this week, and it's like 15 points. So
perfect.
I like that a lot.
Okay, I got it. Either one, you're fine.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. I think let's go to my next flex play. Or is it, no, Brendan, give me your third flex play. It's you, Brendan.
You go ahead. I'm not ready yet.
Okay, so this is a game that we kind of talked about coming in, and this week I like on the other side of the ball against Washington, Chicago Bears. Caleb's every single week he seems to be getting just a little bit better, Brandon. And
superstar.
You're obviously starting DJ Moore. You're not benching DJ Moore. I'm still a little reluctant to start Roma Dunze, but I'm confident starting Keenan Allen this week. He got 2 touchdowns last week up against, or a couple weeks ago, against the Jags. I don't think that's going to happen again, but I like the reliable target share. The old man is getting it done. I'm comfortable starting him this week against Washington because one of the things we've been talking about pretty much all season, Brandon, is start your wide receivers against this Washington secondary. And for the most part, as long as it's a competent quarterback who can distribute the ball, it's been pretty successful and it's been paid out.
Yeah,
which is what I like to see. And then
he's going to get. Keenan Allen's going against Mike Sarin still. He gives up 10.6 fantasy points allowed per game. He's ranked 89th as a defensive back. He's at the bottom of the barrel. Like the matchup is good.
Yeah. Okay, this is making me laugh. The definition of a bust, and by the way, he did say no shade, Brandon. We all get things wrong, but
we
he
love
did
you.
say,
hey, dude, I deserve shade on that. Like I should, but I also said throughout the whole year that my 4 quarterbacks that I was running with were Anthony Richardson, Caleb, Jaden, and Kyler. And Jordan, actually Jordan Love as well. Jordan Love was another one. Those are the 5 guys I was using. But Anthony Richardson, my biggest miss of the year by far. It hurts me a lot because I have a lot of them. But it's what it is. You take swings, and I like running quarterbacks, and sometimes these running quarterbacks can't fucking throw the ball very well. Yeah. So,
here's the thing, Brandon. If you took our advice and drafted Jaden Daniels, like I've got Jaden Daniels all over the place. Yeah, you're doing pretty well. So,
or Caleb, you're doing
Caleb.
Fine.
Yeah, you're doing.
Or Jordan Love. Good. How about Jordan Love? How's Jordan Love doing? He's
pretty good.
How's that?
Pretty player.
Pretty good. How was Rashee Rice doing back in the before he got his knee obliterated by his own teammate? It's just that we were on track to have a really good season, man.
You're hitting, baby.
Between Drake London and Rashee Rice, like those 2 calls were massive. Ken Walker, another one that we had. Devon Achane. Unfortunately, with Tua going down, but he's back. Fire up all the fucking Dolphins you can, guys. Bet Tyreek Hill first touchdown. Bet Tyreek Hill first touchdown. They are Tyreek Hill. I know he just popped up with the foot. I know all about it. That's fine. I think this guy is going to score on the first possession of the game. Like they are going to score first possession, and it's going to be a lit game for Dolphins. Achane to the moon as well. It's all been great. Tua's back. We can fire him up. Let's just hope that he stays healthy. That's all.
I love Jalen Waddle this week. The whole narrative around the concussions, and I don't want to belittle the fact that Tua is risking his life every single week at this point, right? I know in theory there's always a risk for every single player, but what's happened to Tua, it's very clear, right? So you have to think that they're going to game plan it so that Tua is in a position where he's got easy decisions to make, and that's going to be Jalen Waddle. And if he doesn't get 7-8 targets this week, at least, then they're doing something wrong. But listen, we've been waiting for this all season.
Yeah, with Hill coming up with the foot too, that does lean into your narrative for sure. I just think there's no fucking way. Yeah, there is no way.
Hill will be the round 1 wide receiver that we drafted him once again, right? So don't be afraid of that. But when you're on the margins and you're making a decision, do we trust Jalen Waddle after a month of basically no production?
Absolutely.
He's been on my bench for a month. I'm starting him without care, without worry this week. Chop. Send us your team. We'll have a look at it, brother. All right. So full PPR need 2: JSN, Terry McLaurin, Taysom, Taysom Hill, I'm guessing, and it's a 10. So no Jalen McMillan, Tillman, and Mostert. Jason and McLaurin, right?
McLaurin. Oh man, Bears. Jaden Daniels. If Jaden Daniels starts, Terry has to play. If he doesn't start, then I get it. Don't play him. JSN 100% is in. If Jaden's out, I'm going JSN McMillan. If Jaden's in,
I don't care.
If it
Starting
if
TMC.
Jay, okay, that's totally fine. I just think they're
Yeah.
going to clamp down on him. There's nobody else.
All right, let's fire through a few of these of our last. I'm down to like my notable mentions, like
Sure.
start your Dolphins. Large exclamation marks that says start your Dolphins. You definitely want to start them. If you're kind of desperate, like maybe you're really struggling at the running back position, I don't mind Ray Davis this week to get a touchdown, right? So in a PPR league, he might get you 10 points, 12 points. So it's not like a sexy play. Love James Cook this week, but he's not a start-sit decision. You're probably starting him every single week. But Ray Davis this week, I like. And then Javonte Williams, man, going against Carolina.
Yes, there it is.
Start your running backs. Start your running backs against Carolina. I think Javonte is one of these players where he's probably an every week starter just because of the injuries that we've seen throughout the season. You're at least probably getting him to your flex, but ultimately, if you need to make a decision and Javonte is one of those decisions, like you're starting this man against Carolina, like it's got to be done.
Yeah, and this is I totally agree with you, but this is such a game where they could because all those running backs could do well. Like they could literally just like, you're going to be just crossing your fingers hoping that it's JW on the red zone. But yeah, dude, Carolina, Troy Franklin's another player that I like in that setup. He's been getting some shine this last couple weeks with no Josh Reynolds. I actually kind of like him to score his first touchdown of the year.
Yeah. Okay. So this isn't great radio, but I just want to say, Chop, like your team is disgusting. Like in a good way. You got Lamar, which is a QB1. You got A-Chain and Kano, who we love. AJ Brown's back, baby.
BTJ.
Tucker Kraft's like he's with the way the tight end position is right now, Brandon. Like Tucker Kraft's an every week starter.
You need to play with better leagues.
It's a 10 man.
Oh, it's
league,
a 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
So that's
okay.
Yeah. So one of the things, and this is just like for the people, right? So if especially in shallower leagues where it's like fewer people, in a lot of cases, it's very much a stars and scrubs approach with your team, right? And you can't really execute that in a traditional snake draft because every team's going to be stacked. But if you really want to elevate your league to the next level, especially in smaller leagues like 10-person leagues, I strongly encourage you to get into the auction format. It is so much damn fun. And the thing is that the platforms, like the major platforms, like the Yahoos of the world, Sleeper, which is our preferred platform, they've really stepped up their game in terms of the software for auctions, where it becomes an efficient thing. Like, I'm not kidding you. We're so degenerate. We used to do auctions. Like, if you're doing it live, it's different, right? But if you're doing it on a computer, we used to have multiple, like 2-3 hour sessions in 12-person leagues to draft these deep teams, which is absolutely maniacal, right, for auction.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that anymore with the software. I really encourage that. And that way it really does in those types of leagues, Brandon, you have to win on the margins. And by playing picking up players like you did, man, like Chop, you got a sick team. Hopefully you are super happy. Okay. Let's talk about some of the players, Brandon, really quick here, that Matt likes and that our guy Mike likes. So K. Dotton versus Atlanta. At this point, K. Dotton, he's one of these tight end streamers. I don't have an issue every single week. One of the trash sheet players this week is the aforementioned Sean Tucker. I think he's a solid play this week, right? Is Bucky gonna play?
He's playing. It's just he's gonna be limited,
right?
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, and Rashad White, like
I think Rashad White's gonna run some slot wide receiver this week to get everybody on the field.
Yeah, so I would say like very much like the Ray Davis category. Like Sean Tucker is not somebody that I'm like excited to just jam into my lineup. But if you're playing in a league that we play in, or a dynasty league, right, where it's start 3 wide receivers and you've got 2 or 3 flex positions and it's deep, then I am okay starting Sean Tucker. I've got him across a bunch of leagues, which, by the way, Matt, this is out to you, flex.
This is him, man. Like he had him. Yeah.
I have him on my teams because Matt loves Sean Tucker so much. Like, sometimes you just have to take the gamble, and I'm still waiting for those trade offers, by the way, Matt, for your beloved Sean Tucker. But yeah, honestly, I'm not confident starting Sean Tucker this week, but if you have to, I don't have an issue with it. And then just another one is Jacob Cowing, San Francisco versus Dallas. Like, he might be okay. Jennings is hurt.
I'm not even dicking around with that. This is a Debo week. Debo's back.
Yeah, well, it's a trash sheep. It's a trash sheep call, Brandon. So, like,
I know
desperation play. You do what you got to do. So that's it, man.
I had a couple other
Yeah,
flexes that I'll just talk about a smidge. Demario Douglas. I think he's going to be the guy that leader in the clubhouse for targets this week. Because he's the slot guy. Being away from Sauce Gardner is a massive deal. Last 2 games with Drake May, Douglas has had 12 targets, 8 receptions for 106 yards and a tud. So I just my God, dude, Drake May, you guys got one. You guys got a real one.
Yeah.
You guys got one.
Yeah.
That was a guy that I had some concerns about. Man, he looks good. Like, it's just, like once you see it, then you got to change your freaking attitude on him, because he was able to make all the throws that I thought he could make, but I was worried about some of the turnover stuff and some of the processing stuff. But man, he looks great. Very composed, looks like a pro. And with the fact that he doesn't have a lot of people to throw to too, like he's doing well.
Well, so one of the biggest criticisms of Drake May coming in, just in general, was that he was still a little bit raw, right? His accuracy could have been a problem, but on the season so far in his 2 starts, he's at a 68. But a 68% completion percentage. So like that's respectable in the NFL, right? It's not amazing, but that's pretty damn good in the NFL.
And he's like averaging 2 touchdowns a game. Like he's
ridiculous. He's not pushing the ball. He's averaging basically 7 yards per attempt, which is okay. It's not groundbreaking, but it's not bad.
Well, he doesn't have the guys to do it.
Yeah, he's getting the ball out quick.
Well, hopefully Polk gets it moving, and that would be nice. But I think Demario Douglas this week is a splash play. Has a chance to get in the end zone for you. Tank Bigsby. I don't care if ETN ends up active. Tank Bigsby is going to get most of the carries this week. It's a game time decision for ETN. I understand that. So being that, anybody that's a game time decision that's a running back, that's a little bit different. I like betting towards the backup, and that's Tank. I like that. In that game, that game, like I said, that game environment, Tank Bigsby and Brian Thomas Jr. Brian
BTJ
Thomas
every single week, baby.
Jr. is better than Marvin Harrison. I'm out.
You're right. I love it. Mic drop. Well, unceremoniously, though, we got to help a guy out. One last question here. Start Baker or Drake May this week? I'm so worried about Tampa Bay, man. Just the psyche of that team right now. So I'm starting Drake May. Don't love it against the Jets, but you just like the upside with what he can do in the legs. And I don't know, man. The Jets are dysfunctional. Hassan Reddick is playing this week, though, Brendan. Interesting.
That's good. They need him.
They do, but Matt Man is out so much damn money. It's absolutely wild. So, Brandon, man, hopefully we can sneak you in and squeeze you in with your busy schedule over the next coming months here to get you at least a few more shows. Maybe one a month would be great on like a random evening. That would be awesome, just because we love hashing up with you. But brother, it is always a pleasure podcasting with you. So we're going to be here as much as we can on Saturday morning. Sometimes life gets in the way. We missed last Saturday because we made a last-minute decision to go out to Banff. I live in Calgary, Alberta, and Banff is a beautiful mountain town, and we wanted to get out there before it got too damn cold. So we made that decision. You got to make the wife happy, right? At the end of the day, Brandon, it's what life's all about. Go enjoy some football. Go enjoy your families this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and we appreciate you. You are our family, the DFS Army family. Go check out dfsarmy.com, dfsarmy.com. Helmets up, baby, because guess what? We keep printing cash, Brandon, every single week. The tools just get better and better. Go crush your leagues this week. Brandon, I love you, brother. We'll chat soon.
Sheesh. Yeah, big time. No,